Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin. These men spoke up for what they thought was right. From their courage came such documents as the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States. From their willingness to speak what was sometimes unpopular but right, we enjoy such liberties as freedom of speech, the right to keep and bear arms, and freedom of religion. There are those who still wish to oppress our freedoms, and there are still patriots willing to stand up and defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Men like Zeb Bell, who honor our founding fathers and what they stood for. It's now time for Zeb at the ranch, speaking up and defending your freedoms. Brought to you by Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers and all of the other great advertisers on the program. And now, Zeb Bell.
Oh, I like this one this morning. As we get older, you'll realize that a $300 watch and a $30 watch both tell the same time. Morning, everybody. Here comes Kate Smith, and God bless America, followed by a Patriot with our Pledge of Allegiance on a Wednesday, June 12th. Good morning. Good morning to you and yours. I'm Zeb Bell, Zeb at the Ranch, and we're ready to rock and roll on a Wednesday. And again, our thanks to our major sponsor, and that's, of course, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you with the best of safe driving tires. And, of course, don't forget, too, some of our great advertisers like Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. Right now, let's go to the phone line and start the day off in the correct fashion with our Pledge of Allegiance. Good morning.
Well, good morning, sir.
Yes, sir.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
Attaboy, Wheels, I appreciate it. And right now we're going to scoot to the weather forecast, and the weather brought to you by K&R Rental. Hello, Roger and the crew at 256 South 600 west of Hayburn. Right there on the Burley-Paul Highway. You can't miss them. Great folks with a great big front yard that's got everything out in that front yard, all the tools and equipment for what you need for your gardening this spring and summer, your lawn equipment, everything. And if you're not sure what you need to finish a project, you get a hold of them today. K&R Rental at 678-3122. And right now, here's Scotty with the weather.
Maybe a little bit of a chance of rain for tomorrow. Good morning with your Zeb at the Ranch weather forecast. I'm Scotty Cameron. Sunshine for today. Highs are going to be around 84. Tonight, partly cloudy, a low of 55. Then for tomorrow, sunny in the morning. Afternoon, slight chance of showers. Highs are going to be around 81. Partly cloudy and a chance of showers for Thursday night, a low of 52. And then in the morning on Friday, a slight chance of showers, a high of 81, then clearing off and becoming sunny. Friday night, clear and a low of 52. Then for Saturday, sunny at 81. Sunday, mostly sunny at 83. That's your Zeb at the Ranch weather forecast. I'm Scotty Cameron. Have a great day.
I tell you what, Scotty, I appreciate that. Filling in for Gina while she's on vacation. And Scott, man, we thank you much. K&R Rental, of course, sponsoring our weather for this hour. Thank you. And if you have questions, you got a project and you say, well, gee, I don't really know what I need to finish this. Hey, don't worry about it. Just call Roger and the crew today at K&R Rental. 678-3122. They're right on the Burley-Paul Highway, K&R Rental. I hope you're going to have a good day. We got a really, really good program today. And we're going to have Dave Bego coming here from Indianapolis, Indiana at 9:06. Then we're going to have Pastor Steve King talking about his new book at 9:30 called Beware of the Slow Leaks. Then at 10:06 we start our new fishing segment for the summer with Sportsman's Warehouse and with Josh Anderson. Good guy, great fisherman. And the old fishing hole is at 10:06. Then at about 10:20 this morning, we're going to be talking to the man that heads up and is going to be the ramrod for the Idaho Regatta for this year. Louis Schindler is going to be on the program. And then at 10:32, Gary Goldman from back in Beantown, Boston, Massachusetts. So So we've got a lot of things to talk about. Right now, I also want to mention to you that for all your heating, cooling, and electrical needs, don't forget our friends at Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. Now, they've been doing this for well over 6 decades. Think about it. Over 6 decades of serving you with the most efficient and professional work to help you with your heating, cooling, and electrical needs. By golly, I'll tell you what, you're going to probably be turning on the air conditioner. You need new filters? Well, stop in there and pick them up at Ramsey Heating and Electric. And they're open 7:30 to 5 Monday through Friday. Number to call, 678-0459. I want to also mention to you quickly that the June lunch bunch, okay, we've already had calls on that, and I want to remind you that the June lunch bunch is going to be on Thursday, June 20th. June 20th. So put that in your memory bank or put it on your day planner or calendar. It'll be June 20th. Don't forget that at Denny's Restaurant. 611 North Overland in Burley. Great food, great people. I mean, what else do you need to know? We all gather there for lunch bunch, and you can go in there anytime, all the time. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and enjoy all the new menu choices that are A1 delicious. I'm always partial to breakfast, so I'll tell you what, they've got some new strawberry vanilla crepes. Oh, they are good. Stop in and see them today. Denny's Restaurant, America's Diner, 611 Overland in Burley. Really good, folks. All right, let's break the ice and start everything rolling this morning. Give me a call at 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. 80-year-old John Dean. Yep, Watergate felon. Testified in front of the Senate hearing yesterday, and they are making a hero out of this guy that really has nothing to do with anything in the Trump campaign to be president or after 2016 as president. Nothing. And they're making a hero out of this guy. They're actually turning it into a carnival sideshow with some of his comments that he doesn't like Trump at all. As a matter of fact, it's been documented that he's almost sent like over 1,000 anti-Trump tweets. And he said that Trump is like Putin. And he said Trump is like Nixon on steroids, and everybody on the Democratic Party, or the Socialist Party if I prefer, is kind of sitting there, clap, 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 clap. Oh, that a boy, John Dean. This is, it's absolutely revolting, repugnant, and very unprofessional, what they're doing right now. CNN and MSNBC, they're all over this like a bunch of slobbering attack dogs and trying to make a big deal out of this. However, one pundit said it best. The reason for this carnival sideshow, the Democrats are really worried about what Attorney General Barr is going to find out and let out. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
And a good morning to you, Zeb.
Yes, sir.
Whatever happened to fact-checking?
That's interesting. I'm glad you brought that up because I've got a little bit of an argument about some of that, and you may or may not agree. I'm just going to come out and tell you that every Sunday in the Times News, they have a fact check that tries to go and belittle to the minute degree President Trump and what he has done or what he's doing. Now, I'm not against fact-checking. I'm not against saying, well, so-and-so didn't do this and so-and-so did do that, or it was done in this fashion. But sometimes their fact-checking that I've found in the Times News is completely biased and slanted so that anything and everything that Donald Trump does is going to be criticized and it's going to be basically thrown in the gutter as not worthy. So fact-checking, you got to really depend on the source that you go to. You got to check it out carefully, as I'm sure you're aware, and you got to be careful. And when I get on this program every morning, Keith, I verify at least twice the stories that we're going to talk about.
And I do appreciate that very much because this seems to be the only place we're getting the truth is through you or somewhat through Fox. Now, that's what the problem is. It isn't going to do you any good to check the facts if you can't get them to the people.
That's right. Yeah, there's a lot of, like you use the terminology, fact-checking areas or options. But one has to be very careful about them being politically slanted, left or right. I want to be fair here. And the old news, remember, Keith, when you'd get home from work, from selling cars or whatever, and you'd put your feet up on the Lazy Boy, and you'd turn on maybe the Huntley-Brinkley Report, or you'd turn on Walter Cronkite or whatever, and they gave you the news without a slanted, biased opinion. Those days are dead and gone, my friend.
They certainly are, and this Joe O'Biden, that's what I call him, O'Biden, because he's joined at the hip with Obama. But if for some reason they forbid him to say one word about Trump, he wouldn't have a campaign.
This deal about Biden is so intriguing to me. How can this man be leading the rest of the dog pack of the Democrats or the socialists and have the large percentage of the audience behind him or the so-called constituents? And then the other thing that bothers me is these so-called polls, and I'm doing some investigation into some of these polls, and I'm going to have this information hopefully Monday, that show that Biden right now is 13 or 14 percentage points ahead of Donald Trump. How in the world can that be?
That cannot be, and it will not be, because there again, you go to fact-checking. If you were to check on the real facts, you'd find Biden's name probably isn't even mentioned.
You know, what bothers me, and quite frankly, I'm not going to give any credence to the Democrats, but I got to be fair. If I were any one of the Democrats that are running on the Democratic ticket to be a nominee, whether it's bug-eyed Cory Booker or whether it's Buttigieg or whether it's Kirsten Gillibrand, doesn't make any difference who. But already it seems the media has anointed Joe Biden as the nominee, and that is very offensive and should be offensive to all the other possibles.
Well, it goes right back to the squeaky wheel gets the grease.
Yeah, that's right. And old Joe must have a big can of 3-in-1 oil, let me tell you. Keith, I appreciate...
Something slicker than that.
Yeah, well, there's other words. Well, I appreciate your call to break the ice this morning, old buddy. Thank you very much.
You bet.
All right, God bless. Thank you for your call. Come on, give me more calls. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. You know, I've got an awful lot about farming and agriculture practices and everything that I just don't understand. And when it comes to all the great big scientific breakthroughs, I'm left in a cloud of dust. And I was talking to a farmer last night, and we were talking about those telemetry annex boxes that you can direct any pivot and coordinate any pivot of your irrigation through your cell phone. Holy moly. I mean, this is great. Well, find out more about that. Call Jake and the rest of the crew at Rain for Rent at 134 South 600 West of Paul. The number to call and get more information way above me, 438-5065. Jake and the crew at Rain for Rent, a Reinke Diamond dealer, and they've got a very dedicated sales and service staff to serve you. Call them today at 438-5065. And Paul, and don't forget, Rain for Rent. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning. It's the Yummy Man with the menu for today at the Burley Senior Center out in South Overland. It's birthday anniversary dinner, which means we're having turkey and dressing, mashed taters, gravy, green beans, cranberry sauce, yummy dessert.
Okay, Joe, you skidded over it like stepping on a banana peel. What kind of yummy dessert?
Well, they don't tell me yet, but it'll be good.
Okay.
And, when he wants to take out, it's only $5. Just call in, and it'll be ready at noon. They serve from 12 to 1 o'clock.
All right. Joe, I tell you what, you do a great job promoting the Senior Center on Oberlin. God bless you, my friend, and I certainly hope you enjoy your yummy meal. Thank you.
Thank you for letting us come on and give the menu.
You're very welcome.
Bye.
Thank you, my dear friend. Joe Taylor, good guy. In just a minute, I want to talk to you about the Dominican Republic. This country right now is scary, shaky. I wouldn't want to go down there on a vacation right now. We'll talk about that in just a minute. Don't forget Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation. And I really, really urge you that if you're sitting there going, oh, it hurts, oh, I can't move, I can't get in the car, I can't get in the pickup, I can't go up the stairs. Why don't you give them a call right now? They can help you with your aching and paining and help you get back to being you. That's right. Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley. The number to call, 678-1191. Yep, Nick Greenwell and all the physical therapists. They do a wonderful job. And they've also got the only one of its kind in the area, the hydrotherapy pool. Oh, that helps those muscles get back in shape. Please give them a call, 678-1191. Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation, waiting right this minute to serve you. Give them a call. Also, quickly, before we go into that story about the Dominican Republic, I want to remind you about our friends at Ark Animal Hospital. You know, every time I've been around Dr. Bill, and he's come on the program many times to talk about animal health and taking care of your puppy dogs, kitty cats, dairy cattle, whatever, they are dedicated. I mean, they are dedicated to serving you and your animals because they want healthy animals. That's right. And Ark Animal Hospital is located at 750 21st Street near Connection Credit Union in Hayburn, and the number to call is 678-1177. I mean, whether it's vaccination programs or whether it's deworming your horses and taking care of all your animals during the fly and tick season, all of this and more over at Ark Animal Hospital, where they have warm hearts for the cold noses. You be sure and get a hold of them today. To go to... bit my tongue twice. Double injury. Dominican Republic is absolutely scary right now. And did you hear on the news yesterday the most ridiculous, stupid excuse for why these Americans have died down at some very, very posh resorts in the Dominican Republic? I could not believe it. The president of the Dominican Republic was pursued by a reporter from Fox News, and the president turned his back on the reporter and walked away and made a hand motion like, get out of here, leave me alone. And so eventually they managed to get a hold of, I believe it was one of the VIP CEOs of one of the posh resorts, and ask him some questions. And he, this owner of one of the resorts, made the statement that, well, when these people come down here on vacation, they overindulge themselves. And they eat too much. And they drink too much. And that's probably why they died. Interesting. You know, I've been on cruises. I've been to foreign countries. I've enjoyed the local cuisine and other activities, and haven't overindulged to the point where I'm laying on the floor gasping for breath. And to say that, well, all these people probably ate too much and drank too much, well, that's their own problem. There's got to be something going on here. And then, of course, as you know, great baseball player David Ortiz, his home is in the Dominican Republic. And he was sitting in an outdoor area nightclub, not doing anything except talking to a couple of businessmen. And someone drove up on a motorcycle, and the rider on the back of the motorcycle got off and shot him in the back. Now, one would think that's not a real safe place to be right now. down in the Dominican Republic. But even now, the president of that country is running with his tail between his legs and won't even respond to reports. Terrible. Absolutely terrible. I'm going to tell you something else that's terrible in just a minute, and that's Kirsten Gillibrand. We're going to talk about that in just a moment. Later on this morning, we're going to be talking to the head man with the Idaho Regatta. And that's Lewis, and he's going to be coming on the program, and we're going to be talking about the regatta, world-famous Idaho Regatta, coming up on June 27, 28, and 29. Don't miss it. It's going to be so tremendous this year, and they're expecting some outstanding races, so please get down to the river and enjoy the Idaho Regatta. My goodness, and tickets are on sale, special rates for veterans and seniors, 62 and over, and at the gate only, must show a valid ID to receive a discount. Only $10. Wow! You better check it out. This is going to be a lot of fun. Starting on Thursday the 27th with the show and shine on the square in Rupert, and going all the way through Saturday and Sunday with a lot of top-notch races. Don't miss it. Get more information by going to idahoregatta.com. Going to be coming up June 27th, 28th, 29, and 30. Oh, and by the way, too, every Monday we give away a dozen cookies to Sophie's Chatterbox, and we really appreciate those folks. Delicious cookies, and people really look forward to this. So please, don't forget they're located at 530 East Street in Rupert. Sophie's Chatterbox, a great bakery, and what a restaurant. You better stop in and see them today in Rupert. All right, calls are welcome. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I need the help from you to understand what was said yesterday by Senator Kirsten Gillibrand. Now, please, help me on this. This socialist Democrat that has thrown her hat into the ring to be a possible presidential nominee, Lord help us if that ever happens, she stated, and I'm paraphrasing, and you probably have heard it on television, so I know I'm very close to the paraphrase of the actual quote. She stated that if you're pro-life, you're a racist. Now, I need your help. Surely I go through hundreds and hundreds of stories a week on this program. But somebody please explain to me how anyone could say something so frivolously stupid. If you're pro-life, you're a racist. This woman, Kirsten Gillibrand, actually believes that abortion should be allowed and considered even at birth. And she suggests that anyone who is pro-life and has pro-life views is a racist, and their views are unacceptable. Please, someone out in the audience, call me and explain this to me. How in the world you can take the word racist or racism, and because you believe in pro-life, and you're adamantly, like me, opposed to the killing of babies, how that could be considered racism. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. That term, and it disgusts me, by the way, is absolutely too leniently used by the left. The minute they don't like somebody, you're racist! You're a racist, I know you are. And it's absolutely repugnant. Caller, good morning. Help me on that.
That statement is absolutely an oxymoron, because the majority of babies that are aborted are black babies, and I'm against racism. I'm against abortion 1,000%. So that must mean I like little black babies.
Well, what difference does it make about the color of the skin? And I know you're going to concur and agree with me. The point is, I don't understand how you can take someone that is pro-life. I'm pro-life, okay? I absolutely believe that life is so wonderful and beautiful, and what right we have to literally kill babies. Even at birth, they're trying to project this stupid idea. Why is that racism if I believe that?
Because, like you said, it's just too convenient to throw that word around. Racism has lost its meaning. A lot of words have lost their meaning because they've been distorted and overused over time.
I agree.
Repugnant.
I totally agree with you, but now as a woman, I want you to give me a little synopsis here as to what you think about someone, and I'm just going to be blatant about it. I think Kirsten Gillibrand is one of the dumbest nominees that ever threw a hat in the ring to be for anything. What do you think of her statement saying that anybody that has pro-life views, they're unacceptable? That's almost like saying they're illegal and they should be locked up.
You know, the liberals will say anything to get elected, and I can only think of one other person who might be dumber in Congress than her.
Please tell me who.
AOC.
No, you know, now, lady, I mean, I'm going to send you a certificate for dinner. You and I are on the same page. When I look at the when you look at the new batch of Congress people coming in, and you've got Rashida Tlaib that wants to give free money to the poor. I'll talk about that in just a minute. You've got You've got Ilhan Omar that wants to have everything taken away from Israel, our biggest ally. And you've got AOC that is absolutely the dumbest woman that could ever be a representative, saying things that are completely out of whack, and then she's accepted for it. You've hit the nail on the head.
And now she's saying that Congress deserves a $4,500 a month raise in pay, or however much they're getting paid a year or whatever. Give me the money, and I'll spread it between the vets and the homeless.
Amen.
In my community. I don't need it.
Well, I guarantee you.
Yeah, take that $4,500 and put it back in the Social Security system where it belongs.
Until they prove to me that they are worthy of any kind of a raise for doing any kind of a job, their salary for starting as a senator and a congressman at $174,000 a year is going to be considered by me as way overpaid.
Exactly, and maybe they need to go on Obamacare, and like we the citizens had to. Maybe they need to not get their mail for free and their cars for free, and like Pelosi flying on Air Force jets or whatever it was she was, for nothing. Mm-hmm. Excuse me, their wages are over and above all the benefits they get.
Absolutely. Every time you call, you're a ray of sunshine of common sense. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Today.
God bless you. Thanks. Thank you. Thank you. Nice lady. Caller number 2. I've got a favor to ask. Can you stay right there for a minute and give me a minute because I'm way behind, and I promise I'll be right with you. I appreciate your call. I want to remind you about the Bennett boys. Oh, my goodness sakes. They've got a big auction coming up this coming Saturday, June 15th at 11 o'clock over in Buell, Idaho at 1634 East, 4300 North. From the Buell Medical Center, go east 1 mile, then north 2 miles, then east a quarter of a mile. Look for the signs, lunch by the cook shack. It's going to be the Sutton Estate auction. They're going to have cars and farm items and lawn and garden items, sporting goods, shop tools, all kinds of clocks and clock parts, really a lot of clocks, furniture and household items. All of this and more managed by the Bennett Boys Auction Service, the Sutton Estate Auction in Buell this coming Saturday at 11 o'clock. And, of course, the Bennett Boys Auction Service. No sale too big, no sale too small. The Bennett boys, they sell them all. Caller, good morning, and thank you.
Yeah, this woman is just plain stupid.
Okay.
I don't think she could read a first-grade reader.
Kirsten Gillibrand has left me with a very cold feeling, Jerry. Every time I watch her on the news or I hear her speak, she absolutely proves to me that some people can open the books, but they can't comprehend the words.
Well, I got a feeling you're absolutely right. Anyway, I'll get out of your way. You have a wonderful day. May the Lord bless.
Well, he has with friends like you. Thank you very much, Jerry. God bless you, man.
You bet.
Thank you. Good guy right there. One of my dear, dear friends. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I was not kidding a moment ago when I said that Muslim Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib, I feel like scratching my fingernails on the chalkboard every time I talk about one of these women or these Congress people or senators that are new and absolutely of a socialist bent. We're going to talk about that in a moment. Caller, stand by. I've got to do one quick commercial. I'll be there. Barry Equipment and Rental. Don't forget the best of equipment for you for the jobs you need to get done, whether you're a lifting and a digging and a pushing and a carrying or leveling and laying sod. Whoa, I tell you, they've got it all for you. The Doosan wheel loaders and excavators and all the Bobcats and all the mini excavators. Holy smokes, what are you waiting for? Get a hold of Barry Equipment and Rental today. 159 West Highway 30 in Burley, 465 Addison Avenue West in Twin, and the Nampa location. They will and can help you at Barry Equipment and Rental. Now, caller, please, you're on the air.
Okay, I want to know where the fact checker is for Gillibrand.
Well, now, why do you ask me a question like that when I can't give you an answer as to where the fact checker is? I mean, the news media is supposed to be a fact checker, and basically the left-wing news media that bends and goes with the wisps and the wanes of the Democratic Party, which is a socialist party. How am I supposed to check the facts on all these nincompoops?
Well, the facts are there, and there's people who do check them, but they're not recognized.
That's right.
That's what our problem is today.
Keith, you and your family and you and your wife, you call frequently regarding politics and what's going on and what's negative, etc. But when I've got to ask you too, and give me a short answer on this, but speak up. Your voice is very soft. How can you say that someone that's pro-life is a racist?
I don't know how you could. First of all, you've got to define what the word racist really covers.
Uh-huh.
And I don't think anybody really knows.
Well, under the auspices of how they're using it so freely and frequently against any and all of us, I mean, I was called a racist because I was against Barack Obama in 2008. Oh, you remember that. The news media and all the state Democrats that had the combined IQ of a bicycle spoke came after me, and they were demanding my head on a platter because they said I was a racist against Barack. And at the same time, I was advocating Condoleezza Rice to be president on the Republican side of the ticket. I mean, these people are ninnies.
That's true. And the years I was in the car business, I hired many people that were a different race than I was. I guess if you would call Hispanic or anything like that. But no, I do not advocate the word racist. Just because you don't like the way it's said, that's racist. No, that's not the way it is in America.
Well, and you're right on. I mean, I went through that mess that they created for me, the Democrats here locally and then statewide, because they absolutely shot themselves in the foot because they weren't real smart. But the point I'm getting at here is you're talking about life. You're talking about human babies being born into this world, and I am absolutely supportive in a pro-life way of babies. And I guess now that I'm supportive and pro-life, I'm a racist? This is insanity.
You know, going back to the fact-checking, the facts have been checked with abortion, that life begins at conception.
Yeah.
The first heartbeat, that is a human being. And so, why do they even debate that issue?
Well, I can't answer this question because, in my opinion, the Democratic Party, which I now call the Socialist Party, is completely out of control. Somebody cut the reins off the bit, and the horse is running wild, Keith.
They certainly are, and I don't know how to rein them in.
Well, I appreciate your call again, old buddy. Thank you very much.
You bet.
All right, God bless you. Caller, I'll be right there. Stand by. Don't forget Dino Septic Service. Oh, they do the job that you and I don't want to do. No. We kind of just wrinkle up our nose and go, nope, don't want to do it. Don't want to do it. I don't want to go out and pump that septic tank. Well, Dino Septic Service does, and they do a great job serving you, whether it's septic tank pumping or mainline irrigation installation and repair, water and sewer lines installed, sewer and sink drain lines clean, liquid waste removal. The list goes on and on. They're there to serve you. Please get a hold of Dino Septic Service today, 436-6526 or 678-1638. I love this great big truck with the door that says, smells cargo on the way. Dino's Septic Service. Caller, thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, Zeb. I'm on cell phone, so I can't hear very good, but I'd like to make a statement. These people talked about abortions. I've got a grandson that's going in for his second open heart surgery. They give me one college chance to live, and that's the finest young man you ever see. And when they say abortion, it just like pisses me off.
You know, George, I appreciate your call, and I can tell the emotion in your voice, and I really do want you to call me after the program. It's very important to me that you do that, and our prayers are with you and your family. God bless you, man. Thanks.
Thank you, Zeb. God bless you.
That man right there is one of my dearest friends, and I really, really appreciate him. Human life is so valuable and so precious. And I don't care if it's at birth, or I don't care if it's for the elderly. Life is so precious. This week, I lost a very good friend. Passed away. Another very, very good friend was in a severe auto accident, and his wife was killed. And it was all needless for a driver that, I've got to really watch my words here, that should have never been behind the wheel of a car. Quite frankly, he should have been locked up. Life is so precious. And then we hear about the Democrats with a mantra of basically pro-abortion, anti-babies, and really no value of human life, whether at the beginning of the spectrum or at the end with the elderly. And if you think for 5 seconds, there, I let that pause be 5 seconds, that I would ever support a Democrat to be the leader of this country again, and or the leadership in the House of Representatives because of their views, their terrible, inhumane views against human beings? No! When you take the likes of Pelosi being absolutely scared of Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib and any and all the rest, they're a party of cowards. On the other hand, I guess I could label that on the Republican side, too. We have a Congress, House, and Senate that are comprised of cowards. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Yeah, Zeb, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. You're coming in a lot better today. What'd you do, buy a new phone?
I don't want to... No. If I had spare time, I'd get it. I'd get it done. But this Donald Trump economy's got me running hot.
All right, well, talk real loud and hold the phone real still.
Killing a preborn turtle is illegal under federal law. If you do it, it's a $100,000 fine and 1 year in prison. Killing a preborn bald eagle is a felony. And it's, $250,000 fine and 2 years in prison.
Wheels, turn him up over there, Wheels. Okay, go ahead.
Killing a preborn human is legal under federal law, funded by the government, applauded as empowering to women.
You know, isn't our society turned upside down an absolutely four-letter word, sick?
Oh, see, we're so sick, we don't know how sick we are. Sometimes people are so dumb, they don't know how, or uninformed. They don't realize just how stupid they are. See, you can't have a conversation of logic with people who don't care or who don't know any better.
That's true.
My dad says you're old enough to know better. Well, across this nation, we have leaders who should know better, and they know, but they are so, there is no ethics, no principle, no morals. These lying people that lie to us every day about everything, just to try to fool a fool, to get you to vote for them. Yeah, you're right. Whether or not it's some gutless Republican like Simpson or the Democrats across the board, they are all, there ain't a one of them that's got an ounce of principle, except for maybe that one that you have on your show. Here and there.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm trying to be fair about this, and I know that there's a lot of grief that has been caused by both sides of the aisle. But you know really who's to blame? It's us for putting them back in office, and I'd like to see a purging of those people going back. I absolutely have turned my mind around on term limits, and I would like to be the doorkeeper that opens up the door when they're finally voted out of office, and I would say, please do not let the doorknob hit you in the posterior on the way out.
It's just like, can you name me a congressman or senator that went he was of humble origin, and he went in and then he comes out, and he is, Barack Obama was worth $2 million or less when he went in. When he came out, he was worth $500 million.
Well, they planted the seeds on the government money tree, and everything came to fruition. Randy, I've got to run, and I appreciate your call, but I got to get a weather forecast in. Thank you, my dear friend. I appreciate it. Thank you. Caller number 2, I'll be right there, I promise. I want to tell everybody about the weather, brought to you by Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. Oh, my goodness, they're right behind the Minidoka Hospital across from the emergency room, and they're waiting to see you and help you with your hearing health. Dr. Pickup, Dr. Mitchell, Dr. Hunsaker, all of them know how to help you with a very personalized hearing health care service. Call them, make an appointment at 312-0957. That number again, 312-0957. Right now, here's Scotty with the weather.
Maybe a little bit of a chance of rain for tomorrow. Good morning with your Zeb at the Ranch weather forecast. I'm Scotty Cameron. Sunshine for today. Highs are going to be around 84. Tonight, partly cloudy, a low of 55. Then for tomorrow, sunny in the morning. Afternoon, slight chance of showers. Highs are going to be around 81. Partly cloudy and a chance of showers for Thursday night, a low of 52. And then in the morning on Friday, a slight chance of showers, a high of 81, then clearing off and becoming sunny. Friday night, clear and a low of 52. Then for Saturday, sunny at 81. Sunday, mostly sunny at 83. That's your Zeb at the Ranch weather forecast. I'm Scotty Cameron. Have a great day.
Scotty, thank you very much. And, of course, the weather this hour brought to you by Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. The best people working for you and helping you with your hearing health care. There you go. Call them. Make an appointment. 312-0957. Caller number 2, you're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, it's me again. I just had this other thought. These people that think dismemberment abortion is great, I can get my hands on 4 good draft horses. You show me how it's done, buddy.
You know, how can any candidate for any office go on television or the radio or be quoted in the newspaper as being in favor of on the gurney after birth abortion? That is nothing more than infanticide. It is killing of a human being. How in the world could that not be looked at a crime and have the detectives there with handcuffs to lock them all up?
Because they don't have any brain cells. Somebody did a partial birth abortion on them and left them in the womb to develop for 9 months.
I can't argue that point at all. There again, common sense. That's what you provide. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
God bless you. Yes, ma'am.
I had a miscarriage, and my baby didn't even have a heartbeat yet. And I think about that baby all the time. I don't know how women can do this.
I appreciate your honesty.
Pregnant, yeah, I was 3 weeks pregnant, so my baby didn't even have a heartbeat yet. And little Ryan, I think about him or her all the time.
God bless you for your call. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it, and I just hope you know that you're always welcome to call in. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. Wow, that's pretty dynamic, pretty forceful. That poor baby laying on that gurney after being brought into this world. And then the decision is made as to whether to let the baby live or die. What kind of a society are we coming to? Really? I mean, we're talking about filth and absolutely low-class living and representatives that are lying and cheating and stealing, and we're talking about no morality, and those that stand up and try to fight back a little bit, they're denounced. And like I've said many times on this program, from Isaiah in the Bible, chapter 59, verse 15, truth is gone, and anyone who renounces evil is attacked. That's happened to me many times. What's happened to us? Calls welcome, 436-2244. Caller, good morning, you're on the air.
So I have a question. What's the difference between putting these little babies and killing them at birth and or abortions than what the Mayans, the Incans, the people in Sodom and Gomorrah, when they were doing ritualistic sacrifices? What's the difference between what people are doing today and what those people were doing then?
You know what the difference is, Sharon? The difference is, and I'm going to stand behind this, you can agree or disagree with me quickly, but I'm just going to say we've lost our ability to be a Christian nation. We used to have a higher standard. We used to have a higher moral value. We've lost that ability to be a Christian nation. And quite frankly, with the abortion issue, your analogy is very well appreciated, and I think you're spot on.
You know, and I see with this continuing, the wrath of God coming down on this country like no other, because we have been given so much. We have had the best and all the blessings that could have ever been poured out on mankind, and now we've turned our backs. I tell you what, the stripes are coming.
You know, something, I think you summed it up very well, and I appreciate your call, as always. God bless you, my dear friend, and take care. Drive carefully. Thank you. Thank you. Wow. Yeah, I think so, too. We're going to pay for our sins. You don't like that? I don't care. I'm going to say the truth the way I see it. If you're offended by something I say on this program, you have two options. Number one, you can call in and disagree with me. Or number two, just turn the dial. But I'm going to be honest about it. We have really lost our compass towards being better and more moral. It's not there anymore. I want to thank our great sponsor, our great big sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. They have all the best of tires for your vehicles, cars, pickups, SUVs, horse trailers, boat trailers, camp trailers, whatever you need tires for, they've got them. And many of which are on sale right now to save you money as you're going into your big driving time to see Aunt Martha and Uncle Fred back in Tucumcari, New Mexico, or wherever it is. And also make sure that your brakes are in excellent shape. They've got highly trained brake technicians serving you, front end alignment, shocks and struts, batteries, all of this and more at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. The best. Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike in Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, Daniel on Pole Line in Twin Falls, and Trent on Overland in Burley. The best. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Gonna run to the news, be back in 7. Zeb at the Ranch, don't go away. Oh, welcome back, Zeb at the Ranch. Good morning on Wednesday, June 12th. My goodness, with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations, really concerned about your safe driving, and they've got all the tires for your vehicles. You stop in and check them out today, along with some of our great advertisers like Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. Right now, my old buddy Wheels over at the main studio has this good word for Western Waste.
From the canyons of the Snake River and all across southern Idaho, we're always at your disposal. Western Waste Services, we care about our community, our resources, and this great land. Western Waste Services is lending a hand, always at your disposal. Western Waste Services.
Oh my goodness, you're all set for the company picnic and the family reunion, and everybody's ordered all the food and the plates and the tables and the chairs, and oh brother, you forgot to order the porta potties. The most important thing or item on your list, the porta potties. Oh, call Western Waste Services right away. Always at your disposal. The number 734-6969. Yes, sirree, they live up to that title. Western Waste Services, they are always at your disposal. Call them today. I want to remind you, too, we're going to have our first edition of the Sportsman's Warehouse, the Old Fishin' Hole, coming up at 10:06 with Josh Anderson of Sportsman's Warehouse. I'm looking forward to that. We're going to kind of take it easy, sitting by the stream or the river or out on the lake. He's actually going to be fishing in most of these segments, and it should be a lot of fun. I want to remind you, too, about Hanson Mortuary at 710 6th Street in Rupert, with our dear friend Joel Heward, his family and his staff serving you. When there's the passing of a loved one, they are there to provide the families they serve with the best possible support and comfort. And you can always rely on the fact that they uphold the highest ethical standards with unquestioned integrity. Please write the number down, 436-5636. I'll repeat it again. 436-5636, Hanson Mortuary in Rupert, and Joel Heward also serving you and your family at Morrison Payne Funeral Home on East Main in Burley. Wow. Quick reminder, too, that on Mondays at 10:30, Vicky's Country Gardens with the program segment called Green Thumbs, Dirty Knees, and Vicky's Country Gardens. She's located right there on the Burley-Paul Highway for all your gardening needs, lawn needs, everything. Stop in and visit with the lady that knows and can help you. Vicky's Country Garden. Right now, here's a dear, dear friend of ours from Indianapolis, Indiana. I say good morning to our dear friend Dave Bego. Good morning, sir.
Hey, good morning, Zeb. Hope you're doing well.
I am doing great. What's the weather doing back in Indiana? Normally at this time of the year, it can be a little bit humid.
Well, it actually, we had a front come through, and it's, I think our temperatures today are going to be mid-70s, and it's not too humid, and just a nice little breeze and clear skies for the most part. It's great. I just got back from Florida last night and going down doing some business and other things, and it was mid-90s down there and really, really humid.
How do people, I don't mean to sidetrack here for a moment, but how do people live in that area? I mean, I've done some rodeos down there in the summertime in Florida and Georgia and other parts of the South, and I mean, if you're not used to that humidity, whoa, it'll kill you.
It is, but there's still a lot of people that like to live down there, and it wasn't as busy now because during the summertime a lot of the older people come back north, and of course school's over with, so you don't have spring break anymore or anything like that. But it was still nice being down there, even though it was hot and humid.
Absolutely. Dave, there's quite a few stories I want you to respond to this morning. First one being the Democrats' approach to the continuation of absolute nothingness. And when I say that, the Mueller report was supposed to be the end all of all the questions, and the Democrats were ready to throw their horse and wagon behind the Mueller report, and whether it was good, bad, or indifferent, many had said, we'll just let it go and take the report for what it says. But they're not going to do that. They're starting all over again with 80-year-old John Dean, a Watergate felon, and they're starting this whole muckraking all over again. Your thoughts?
Oh, yeah, I'm not surprised at all. They're going to keep searching for ways to, beat this president in 2020, and of course some of them are going to try and continue to find ways to impeach him in that. But this is their program, this is their agenda and their tactics, and as I've said before, get used to it because we're going to continue to see more and more, and then they're going to dig up anybody they can to go after them.
Do you believe that of the people you talked to back in Indiana, especially in your hometown, that by doing and pursuing this to reopen and reinvestigate and spend more of our money and time, this will be a nail in the coffin for the Democrats in 2020 or not?
Well, it's definitely not helping them, and just looking at their 24 or 25 people they've got running for president, and the ability of these people and their background and things they're saying that, and that Joe Biden is the top of all this, and he hasn't been successful in the past. Even as vice president for Obama, he didn't do a whole lot. It kind of tells you despite all these things they're trying to do to nail Trump and the Republican Party, I don't think they're making much progress.
Do you give any credence, Dave, as a businessman and a analyst and also a writer, do you give any credence to the polls that already show, and I think it's totally ridiculous, that Biden is 14 percentage points ahead of Trump?
No, I don't. And, some of these polls, again, are controlled, just like the media, they're controlled behind the scenes by the left and the unions. But there's other polls I've seen that, Trump's ahead of Biden. So it's going to be interesting to see how it continues to move.
I mentioned this first hour, and I want you to get your response to it. But if I were, and God, I'm so thankful to the good Lord above that I'm not, one of the Democrats that was running for the presidency, whether it's Kirsten Gillibrand or whether it's bug-eyed Cory Booker or Kamala Harris, regardless of the name. And it seems like the media has already anointed Joe Biden as the winner and the leader and the taker on, if you will, of President Trump. Wouldn't you be a little teed off if you were one of the other 23?
Yeah, you would think so. And I think it's going to get interesting as this narrows down how these other 23 go after Biden and each other and that. But, all the stuff they keep throwing out there, with socialism and abortion and all this kind of stuff. And they're still trying to, free health care and all this stuff. They're just still trying to throw things out there to get votes.
I want to change gears, and I want to ask you a little bit about Muslim Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib. She is introducing a bill to give free money free money to people that have less income than others to be an income equalizer, free cash to the poor, and they don't have to do a doggone thing to earn it. We're just going to give them free money. Doesn't that warm your heart, Dave Vigo?
Yeah, and, this is just, all that is socialism. And, Zeb, we just have to keep pointing out to people that if you really want to know how this stuff works, look at the country she comes from and how the people are doing there. They're not doing that well. And look at, socialist companies like Cuba and Venezuela and how they're doing. And, and I still go back to Venezuela and tell people, for a long time, Venezuela was more a capitalistic society, a free market society, and it did very well, and people did much better. Now you look at them today, and most of them don't have homes or live in cardboard boxes, or, it's terrible.
Yeah.
And but they like to throw this stuff out there. Oh, yeah, we'll give you free this and free that and do this for you and all that. And all that is to get votes.
What are we not doing in our school systems, whether it's in Indiana, whether it's in Idaho, California, Texas? It doesn't make any difference where. What are we not doing or not teaching in the proper venue to let our children know that capitalism is what made this country better than any other country in the world ever in its history? What are we not doing?
Well, it's very simple. We are not controlling the teachers and the college professors and all that kind of stuff for 40 years or now. So the far left has infiltrated our education system, and they're getting people in there. And of course, the unions. When you look at a lot of course, specifically the public school systems and colleges and stuff like that. They are mostly unionized, and these people are all being hired as and pushed into teaching, socialistic, communistic type of things and thought patterns. And that's what this is all about. And that's why, we see such a tough time with the millennials right now, because they've really gone through a lot of that here in the last, 10, 15 years. It's gotten worse. And it's time for this country to wake up and address what's going on in our education system.
I couldn't agree more. Now, you've got to help me on this one, because this is a very, very dangerous subject to get started, because some people on one side are adamantly opposed to the other side. But I've got to ask you about Senator Kirsten Gillibrand. She is one of the possible nominees for the president of the Democratic Party, and she is not the sharpest knife in the drawer. But please explain to me, if you could, how she could make a statement that was basically, in a paraphrase, if you're pro-life, you're a racist. Explain that to me, Dave.
I don't know how you explain that. She is it just shows you that she doesn't have the mental capability and the right way to look at our environment and our people. And, it's all about her and her thoughts. And I just don't see her moving ahead very much.
Well, she makes statements that are so inflammatory, and the other part of that statement that she made was that anyone with pro-life views is a racist, and anyone with pro-life views, they are unacceptable. It's almost like she's saying, if I get to be president, I'm going to throw those people in prison. I mean, this is really inflammatory.
Oh, it is, and these are the type people that the far left are trying to get introduced in that, because this is the way they want to do it. It's all about control at the end of the day, Zeb. I've said that many times, and they want people that will, if they get into office, they'll change everything so they can control the people of this country. And the people of this country, trust me, don't want to be under their control.
Let me ask you this as a businessman, and we talked briefly on this on past programs, but it looks like Donald Trump had a tremendous and very brilliant idea to say, okay, Mexico, If you don't close the borders down and help control illegal aliens coming into our country, we're going to impose a 5% tariff on any goods coming up here from you, and it's going to go up higher, possibly to 25%. Oh, my! All of a sudden, my dear friend, Mr. Beagle, Mexico's doing more for the border than our Congress.
Well, that's right, and it just shows you as a businessman, he understands how to negotiate and to do things, and he's throwing things out there, and he's doing the same thing with North Korea and China and that, and so that we equalize. And Zeb, I mentioned this many years ago in blogs that tariffs and that were not good for this country because we're having to pay more for stuff and stuff like that. Plus, because these other countries weren't doing the right things for their people, and that we were losing business going into Mexico and other places. And it's time that we even the fence here and even things with every country, and they have to deal with us on a natural one-on-one basis.
Absolutely. We have a caller with a comment. I'm going to ask the caller to speak up nice and loud and clear. Go ahead. You're on the air.
Well, speaking of tariffs, Trump is the only one that's had any guts to do this. The win he had with Mexico is unbelievable. And everybody else is, even conservative talk show hosts like Shapiro questioned it. And I love Ben Shapiro, but sometimes I wonder what the hell he's thinking about. But whatever. But you see, Trump is the only one that's got guts enough to do this. And in the end, it will be worth it. And you'd like to think that people, the good, hard-working people, will appreciate it. Whether or not it's Gillibrand or Biden or whoever else, they're so desperate for any attention. Gillibrand is as dim-witted as they get. If you ever listen to her, she never makes any sense. She's dim. She's a dummy. And Biden the other day in Iowa said he was going to cure cancer. I'll hang up.
Respond to the caller, if you would, please, Dave.
I agree with him. He's right on, and his comment. They'll do anything to get attention and stuff like that, and that's what this is all about. And he's right, and Trump is right on and doing this thing, and he's got Mexico's attention to close off our borders and help with our immigration problems, and it's gonna help with manufacturing and other businesses too. And I think he's doing the right things, and I think we're going to see improvement both from there and over in China and other places too.
I agree.
And, the problem with the left is, and not all the Democratic Party, because there's a lot of Democrats that are against what the far left is doing, and that too is. A lot of them have really never been business people and worked in the free market system and understand how it really works. And that's part of our problem.
Amen. You could print that in big letters. Right now, I hope that you're not making any plans to go to the Dominican Republic, because it seems to me that is a red danger zone with Americans dying over there, David Ortiz getting shot over there. And then when they tried to interview the president of the Dominican Republic and ask him about what is going on with these mysterious deaths of Americans, no answer, wouldn't even give a quote, but one of the owners of one of the resorts said, it's the overindulgence of Americans coming here and eating too much and drinking too much. How would you respond to that idiocy?
Well, I've been there. It's been several years since I've been down there, and and please understand there are some nice areas in the Dominican Republic, and you get out of the the big city areas and stuff like that. You get out into the countryside. Some people that are realistic, but there are some areas there that these people are just they're over the edge. And I would, I'll be honest with you, I stayed away from some of the larger metropolitan areas when I was down there, because even then I was told, and I visited some people that live down there, and told by them, be careful and stay away and stay out in the country and stuff like that. So it's just kind of a divided country. It's sad.
All right, we have another call with a quick call. Good morning. You're on the air.
Yeah, I was wondering why none of the news services at all have been talking about the illegal immigrants coming from the Congo in Africa that where they have an outbreak of Ebola. And we're being flooded with those people right now, and nobody's talking about it.
That's not.
Comment?
Yeah, I have a comment on that also, listener, and you're always listening to the show, but evidently you missed that. We had quite a interesting segment talking about that the other day on this program, where the Ebola crisis is basically being issued free clearance coming across our border. I'll have Mr. Bigo give his explanation, and then I'd like to comment further. This is all part of a very sinister plot, I think, to hurt America, and it's doing very well so far because nobody is stopping this. Dave, how would you refer to that?
Yeah, it's sad to hear that, and I do think they are going through the process, but still, when you go through the process, you've got to be looking at things like that, and, it's, I think that some of the people that are, they want these people in for their own political, gain in the future, and what this could do to American people and that. So I think it's sad.
Well, it's not only sad, but I've said on my program, and I'm going to stand behind this, that the disease factor of these illegal aliens coming into our country, not being checked or not having any medical records whatsoever, documents on vaccination programs or whatever, and like the caller just stated with the Ebola virus coming in, we are absolutely putting our head in the guillotine because we don't know what's going on, and it's going to come back and haunt us, maybe not in the next year or two, but in years to come.
Yeah, and it's sad, and we are a company of immigrants from the very beginning. But the thing is, if people want to come to this country, our forefathers, and as we moved along, they improved the standards of what it takes for people to come into America, and I don't know how many people have been at the Statue of Liberty, and where people came through
right.
New York and that, and how they did things at the beginning and that. We need to get back to that. We need to add things that obviously affect people's health.
Absolutely. David, I just want to tell you how much I appreciate your taking the time to be on the program this morning, and I wish you well, and hope that we can talk to you again next Wednesday. Thank you.
Well, thank you, and look forward to it, and have a good week.
My friend Dave Bigo, Indianapolis, Indiana, thank you so much. Appreciate it. We've got another guest coming on in just a few minutes, and I want to remind you before we get there about our dear friends at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More. Grab Dad by the hand and say, come on, we're going for a ride. Get him in the pickup or the car and take him over to Lee's Furniture right now. And tell him, okay, go on in the door and go pick out your new recliner. Oh, watch him go at a full gallop over to where they've got that great big display of all the different recliners so he can pick one out that really fits him. Let him be comfy. It's Father's Day coming up this next weekend. Stop into Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More at 459 Overland in Burley. They've got everything. All your furniture, all your bedroom sets, all your mattresses, all your carpet, your floor covering. What are you waiting for? Get into Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More at 459 Overland in Burley today. Really, really good people. We've got another very interesting guest coming up in just a moment. I can't wait to talk to him about his brand new book. And before we get to that call, I want to remind you, too, about Let's Ride. Oh, they are at 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the World. They're open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6, Saturdays, 9 to 4, with all the 4x4s, all the four-wheelers and side-by-sides and the watercraft, everything for you to enjoy the great Idaho outdoors this summer. Don't put it off. Don't go into the fall saying, gee, I wished I would have. No, stop in today at Let's Ride. Excuse me for choking, at 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the World. And they're waiting to see you where the fun is sold at Let's Ride. Wow. And when it gets to be springtime, and hay fever season. Yours truly, occasionally I'll not be able to hit the microphone switch in time and I'll cough, and I don't mean to be rude, but it's one of those years, and so bear with me if you would, please. Right now, I also want to remind you what happened to my little news note that I had another public service announcement I needed to get on really, really quick. The Rupert, here it is, Vacation Bible School at Rupert United Methodist Church, 605 H Street in Rupert, is going to be June 15th through the 21st, and the theme this year is about space to Mars and beyond. So that's going to take place at the Rupert United Methodist Church, June 15th through the 21st. All right, let's see if our guest is on the phone with us this morning. I hope so. Let's say a good morning to the author of a very interesting book that I have not fully read, but I'm working on it. It's called Beware the Slow Leaks, written by Steve King. Good morning, sir. How are you? Wheels, is he there?
To be honest, sir, I am still trying to get a hold of him. He's out of the building, and he's not answering his cell phone either.
I gave you two numbers. Keep working on those both, please.
Will do, sir.
All right, I appreciate it. Thank you. Sometimes, and it seems like it's happened way too many times, some of our guests seem to not look at their wristwatches and remember that they're supposed to be on the program with us. So that being said, we would welcome your calls at 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Maybe I could have my lovely bride come in, and she could do a little search and seizure to find out where our dear friend Mr. King is so we can get him scheduled on the air. Until then, I was talking about this a little bit ago with Dave Bego, and I'd like to hear your thoughts on it. Muslim Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib has introduced a bill that would give free money to people that have less than others. I don't know all the qualification programs and everything else, but it would be free money, which means you and I are going to pay for it. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning. You know, what you were just talking about, your guests not showing up on time and that sort of thing, it reminds me of way back when a leader in my church said he had an agreement with the airline that if he wasn't there when they were ready, they took off without him.
That's true. You know, I have been on some flights, though. Keith, I have been on some flights, and it was really disgusting. I was on a commuter flight from Chicago up to Minneapolis one time, and everybody's on the plane. Everybody is on the plane. And I'm sitting in the front jump seat, basically right behind the pilots and the co-pilot and the small aircraft. And I could hear the pilot arguing with the co-pilot that he was going to wait and stall so that a fellow pilot could make a connection up at Minneapolis Airport on his flight. And they were waiting and waiting and waiting. And finally, the rest of the people on the plane, along with myself, started voicing our displeasure because we had overheard their remarks, and boy, things got a little dicey there for a few minutes.
Well, the one thing you forgot is that the captain was in charge.
Not really, when the public is paying exorbitant prices for tickets that they are supposed to take off and go to another airport at a certain time, possibly also to make connecting flights like I was. And this was absolutely ridiculous that they were playing personal vendettas against the rest of the passengers just to fulfill a friendship with somebody else.
Well, I'll play devil's advocate. These people have to work with these other people, and so they don't want to cause any problems.
No, you can play devil's advocate all you want. It's wrong because when you buy a ticket and the plane is supposed to take off at 10:32, and the argument between the pilot and the co-pilot saying, no, we're going to wait, we're going to stall as long as we can, and it gets to be about 10 to 11, and other people are worried about their connections, i.e., so was I, that goes over and above, and that's an infringement on the ticket purchasing public for the service that should be provided to them.
Okay, but again, devil's advocate, that pilot has got to. He's probably friends with these other pilots, and he's looking at it. I've got to talk to this guy, but these people on the plane don't mean squat to me.
Well, see, that's the problem, though, with service in America. The public doesn't mean, to use your words, squat to them anymore. That's the problem with any kind of a service-oriented business. People think, oh, the heck with the public. You know, they take our money, but what do we get as reciprocity? Nothing. We get very poor service. That is the whole problem right there.
Yeah, it is. And, you know, these people continue to buy things online, and then when they have problems with them, they got no place to go. And the merchant here, if he sells that product, they want him to take care of it. It's not fair.
Well, nothing in this world is fair. I mean, you're always going to find inequitable situations, Keith, but you know as well as I do that whether it's buying a ticket on an airline or whether it's going to a movie theater or whatever the case might be, you expect that for the money you pay, you will be provided a service of enjoyment and or something that you need that you paid for. And when people are lax in providing that in a service-oriented business, it's time to drop the hammer.
Let's go back to the airlines. Once again, devil's advocate. You got to go somewhere, and the only way you get there is on this airplane. Now who's in charge?
Yeah, it doesn't make any difference who's in charge. I disagree with you entirely. It goes back to what's right and what's wrong, and I'm going to maintain my attitude on this, that when a business, any kind of a business, is growing and they're trying to serve the public, they will go jump through hoops just to make sure that Keith Cottom is happy, Zeb Bell's happy, everybody's happy. But sometimes when businesses flourish and they get too big for their britches, they forget about service to the paying customer and the paying public, and they treat them like they don't matter, and that's what's happening today.
I agree with you there, my friend, but you're going to take care of your friends better than you are somebody you don't know.
I don't agree with that. I'm sorry. In this business, I have tried to treat everybody fairly. I don't care if their business spends $150 a month with me or if they spend $1,500 a month with me. I value the business and treat each and every person the same way because I appreciate their business and their money. And I don't go along with that other attitude of trying to mollycoddle somebody else over another person.
Well, like I told you, I'm trying to play devil's advocate here, and you're not going along.
No, I'm not going to let you. All right, Keith. Thank you.
Wonderful. See you.
All right, buddy. Thank you much. Now, I just think service in this country is gone. Good service, good customer relations. And then, don't get me started on this. If you have any complaints, please call our customer service number, okay? You dial the number, and then a voice comes on the line and says, press 1 if you want this call in English, press 2, press 3, press 4. You jump through the hoops, and 30 minutes later, you're still waiting to talk to a live, breathing human being. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
You know something? I'm on call 24/7, 365. If the phone ain't dead, which it never is, it may not be the best phone ever.
You know, wait a minute. Let me interrupt you right there. Let me interrupt you, Randy. If I were you, knowing the structure and the ability of your phone, I think I'd rather pursue smoke signals.
Well, let me tell you how it is. My daughter says, I got a phone that you can have, Dad, because they're always getting new phones. And then another guy says, I could have a phone that he has, which is a Samsung or an iPhone. I've got an iPhone, which I'm going to throw on the railroad track here in a few minutes and let the train run over it. But service, that's what people want. They want you to, answer the phone and actually care about them. In Burley and in Rupert, I do garage door work, and those elderly ladies, when their garage doors don't function and they can't get out of their house, they're panicked. They're worried.
Yeah.
And they don't need somebody to come over there and take advantage of them. And you'd be surprised what some people do to elderly ladies. It's absolutely criminal. And I don't do it. I'm fair and nice and honest. And I said, listen, I know you're a widow and you need somebody to take care of you. Just keep my card and call me. If you got a problem, I'll help you out. And I said, it's not about me trying to charge you a service call. It's about taking care of my fellow man.
Absolutely.
When you care about them and you don't care about the money is always going to be there.
That's really well put.
Scraping $100 or $60 out of somebody, you're a loser.
Amen. I appreciate your call, Randy. And boy, we got a whole ton of feedback wheels. You got to ride that gain, my friend. Ride that gain. Randy, God bless you for your call. I appreciate that. I know what he said is true because service does reign supreme with Randy. He takes care of his people, and I respect that. But I think in general, a lot of people will agree. The other day, I was sitting right here in this office, and I was given a number to call and try to find out some information about our bill. And 30 minutes later, after punching all the buttons and going through various departments and, well, you're in this department, you've got to go over here, and putting me on hold and letting me listen to the worst elevator music I've ever heard in my life. And I was dumb enough to sit there for 30 minutes trying to get through because I was trying to get this account settled. They had misbilled us, and we wanted to find out why. And then the minute I get a live voice, and I'm not kidding, this really happened. The minute I get a live voice, I got cut off. Now, you talk about frustration. You talk about wanting to rip the phone cords out of the wall. This is not public service. So they say that they're saving money and saving time by having these automated phone services. That is nothing more than barnyard recycled alfalfa. Believe me. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I do not know what happened to my guest this hour, but I can tell you this, if they want to come back on, there better be an apology for leaving me with a blank half hour. But while we're waiting, I'll also say, please call and tell us your thoughts on any and all of the subjects that we talked about, including the latest one about the free cash to the poor. What incentive? Let me just ask you this. If you get a check in the mail and, because you don't have a real good job and the government wants to make you kind of an equal player on the playing field, so here's an extra little bit of money, go ahead and take it. Compliments of the United States taxpayer. What incentive is there for you or anybody else to get up off your dead butt, maybe go find a better job or be more productive and earn more? But no, socialistic ideas becoming more prevalent all the time. Why, those people, they need to have more money. So we'll take it from the American taxpayer, those that are doing a little better, and we'll have equality, income equality. Absolutely brainless. Your thoughts, give me a call. Don't forget Cameron and Siemens Insurance. insurance, life insurance, health insurance, retirement planning, employee benefits, all of this and so much more. They are dedicated and responsive to your needs. Now, all you got to do is give them a call, and they can and they will help you. I mean, sit down with you, ask questions, come up with the answers. Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert, and that number to call, 436-4424. That number again, 436-4424, Cameron and Siemens Insurance. Let me just have a little personal conversation here with Deanne. Deanne, did we hear anything about our guest or not?
No.
Nobody can find him?
No.
Okay.
Grant said he talked to him last night.
They were visiting with him last night, and he was supposed to be ready to go, and his little Mickey Mouse watch broke, and the hands all settled at a different time. Okay. Caller, good morning. You're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Can I just cry on your shoulder?
Holy smokes, is your finger getting sore from dialing? What's going on?
Well, don't complain. I'm saving your life. You know, okay, yesterday in the mail I got a postcard. I mean, it's invitation type, or not an invitation, but like a birthday card.
Yeah.
Just like I got from Zeb and Deanne Bell.
Uh-huh.
And so I opened it up, and here is someone who wants to sell me a hearing aid. I don't even know these people.
Yeah.
And guess what? His picture was down there in the corner, and he said, I'm a specialist. Now, where I came from, a specialist is somebody that has spent the time to get an education and everything, and they are certified in what they're doing. Hearing aid specialist is not a specialist unless he's a designated doctor of audiology.
I'm going to
go along with that?
I go along, and I'm being very protective of one of my longtime sponsors on this program, and that's Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. And every single time I've been around Dr. Christine Pickup and have talked to her about her business and how her business works and how she is so professional along with the other doctors of audiology and serving people on a one-on-one basis, I'm like you. I deal with professionals on my program, and I think I have the cream of the crop with sponsors and advertisers, and I'm certainly not going to jump all up in the air and get excited about a little notice in the mail about how they can help me. I just really appreciate the personal approach and the response of people like Mount Harrison Audiology.
Well, let me tell you about Mount Harrison Audiology. I'm a veteran, and she's approved through the Veterans Administration to service people like me. And I went to her. She did a thorough checkup. I don't mean just, can you hear me now, and all that kind of stuff. No, she did a thorough investigation of what my problems were. And then she, because, you know, the VA is smarter than anyone else, they tell her which one to give to me, which was very expensive, but I didn't complain. But since I've had that, I've had nothing but problems. But that is not Christine's fault.
Yeah.
That's the product that we're talking about. But she has finally just said, we're sending this back and we're going to get you a brand new set.
I appreciate that service.
I'm going to loan you some hearing devices that'll get you by.
Yeah.
What?
Now, I got to get a weather forecast on here, Keith. I appreciate it, and I know that Mount Harrison does too, your kind remarks, but I've got to get a forecast on here. I'm running late, my friend. Thank you so much.
You bet.
All right, sir. Thank you. Yeah, I am. I've got to get this on here quickly, and then we'll take some more calls. First and foremost, Phillips, Oaks, Goodwin, Crane, and Company. And they've been providing accounting services to the Mini-Cassia area for well over 50 years. I mean, we're talking about the best. We're talking about professionals that really, really do the job as far as tax return preparation, tax planning, business consulting, helping you in your business, retirement planning, payroll services, all of this and more by people that really care. They understand agriculture. They understand manufacturing and construction. They understand the businesses, and they want to help you. Please, they've got offices in Burley and Rupert, Phillips, Oaks, Goodwin, Crane, and Company. And right now, here's old Scotty with the weather.
Maybe a little bit of a chance of rain for tomorrow. Good morning with your Zeb at the Ranch weather forecast. I'm Scotty Cameron. Sunshine for today. Highs are going to be around 84. Tonight, partly cloudy, a low of 55. Then for tomorrow, sunny in the morning. Afternoon, slight chance of showers. Highs are going to be around 81. Partly cloudy and a chance of showers for Thursday night, a low of 52. And then in the morning on Friday, a slight chance of showers, a high of 81, then clearing off and becoming sunny. Friday night, clear and a low of 52. Then for Saturday, sunny and 81. Sunday, mostly sunny and 83. That's your Zeb at the Ranch weather forecast. I'm Scotty Cameron. Have a great day.
Good job, Scotty. Thank you very much for filling in. And, of course, the weather brought to you by Phillips, Oaks, Goodwin, Crane, and Company. With offices in Burley and Rupert, you get a hold of the real professionals today. Where were you 25 years ago today? What were you doing? Do you remember? Well, this might jog your memory a little bit because I know exactly what I was doing. I was at a rodeo in California. And before we went to the performance that late afternoon, my wife and I were in a motel room glued to the television set watching O.J. and the chase of the white Bronco. 25 years ago today were the murders of Nicole Simpson and Ron Goldman, and then the ensuing chase and all the other court case, and I mean the mess, huge mess, and the enveloping of all the families and the other characters into a case where eventually O.J. Simpson walked free, somewhat. Then he created more problems later on for himself. But 25 years ago today, the murders of Nicole Simpson and Ron Goldman, and O.J. Simpson, now about, 73, 74 years old, basically walking free. And all the evidence, everything I have read, doesn't go around corners. It doesn't point at any other individual. Doesn't point at any other criminal intent other than O.J. himself. He got away with it. He got away with it. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. There was a professor on television last night from Gwinnett College in Georgia. And this man, a very small, diminutive little man, but oh my goodness, what a dynamo. He absolutely is teaching his students at Gwinnett College that there should not be any illegal aliens allowed into this country. The border should be secure, and there should be absolutely no more entry. Wow. Well, you can imagine the uproar by the liberal students in that college, the millennials, the tin cuppers. They are crying for his head on a platter. But Mr. Fang Zhu, that's his name, says there should not be any illegal immigrants coming into this country, illegal aliens. He doesn't call them immigrants. And he absolutely is appalled at the phrase undocumented immigrants. He said that's wrong. It's a falsehood. They are breaking the law. They're illegal aliens. You're probably sitting there like I was, and scratching your head going, holy moly, the college is going to come down on him like a fly to a plate of milk. Well, no, not really, because he cannot be fired. He is with the terminology, with tenure at that college and everything, and they can't do a thing about what he says in his honest approach to illegal aliens and immigration. He will not tolerate political correctness, and he teaches a lot of his course on the facts that he can back up, that illegal aliens coming into our country are draining and killing our economy and the American taxpayer. And he went on to say last night in the conversation that over 90% of illegal aliens never show up in the courts after they have been applying for asylum. They just leave. They're here. They're not going to go back. And they're staying and living here on your and my dime. Finally, a man with courage. Finally, somebody that's going to stand up, especially with the university and college system in America, and speak the truth to our college-age citizens and let them know, without any PC, no political correctness, that what we're going through in this country has got to stop. Caller, quickly, I've got 2 minutes. You're on the air.
Yes, good morning, Zeb. Can you just imagine the millions of undocumented insurgents that have come into this country? They don't know where they are. Democrats had their way. They take these millions of people, give them amnesty, give them the right to vote, and this is what they're looking for. This is the reason they don't want that border closed, because these undocumented who have no trades, they have no education, they're dumb enough to go ahead and vote for the Democratic Party. And you know our Social Security will eventually be taken away from us to support this bunch of invaders that are coming into our country.
That's right. The system is going to flounder like a dead fish on the beach, and you and I and everybody else that's paid into a system, it's going to go asunder. I agree with you.
Look at all these veterans that gave their lives to protect this country. They will also be affected.
No, there's no question about it. You know, when I heard this man last night, it was a glimmer of hope. It was a flame flickering that I was really, really proud of, because he stood up and he spoke out about really the honest truth. But I wish a lot of politicians would do the same, but they can't.
No, look at this Cortez. I consider her a mouth, a C4 mouth that explodes before her brain goes into circulation.
I can't argue that. I find her and many other new Senate and congressional people to be absolutely abhorrent and void of any knowledge about our Constitution and the values of that Constitution. Tony, I got to run. I wish I had more time to talk to you, but I saw you from a great distance yesterday. You were walking into a grocery store, and I tried to yell at you, but you didn't hear me.
That's probably Smith.
It was.
Hey, we're going to get together for breakfast.
I hope so, my friend. God bless you. I got to run to the news.
Oh, okay, bud.
Thank you. Right. We're going to go to CBS News. I'll be back in about 7 minutes with the Old Fishing Hole, brought to you by Sportsman's Warehouse. Oh, good morning and welcome back. Zeb at the Ranch, hour number 3 on this Wednesday, June the 12th, and we're brought to you by our major sponsor, your Magic Valley, Les Schwab Tire Centers. All 7 locations serving you with the best of tires. You stop in and see them today, along with some of our great advertisers, which include Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. Real quick, I want to remind you, too, about the electronics headquarters, Patterson's at 421 East Main in Burley. Have you been there? Well, plan on it, because they are your electronics headquarters. They've got everything in there, all the complete sound systems and the car stereos and the television, Samsung, Sony, Toshiba, and many more. And they've got the HughesNet internet. They've got the home theater systems. I mean, I could go on and on. But really, for what you're looking for and what you need, stop into Patterson's at 421 East Main in Burley. Number to call, 678-6997. And they're open Monday through Saturday, 9 to 6. Patterson's, 421 East Main in Burley. Right now, it's time to start some fun things on our Zeb at the Ranch program for the summer, and we're going to be visiting with our friend Josh Anderson, and he is with Sportsman's Warehouse at 1940 Bridgeview Boulevard in Twin Falls with the old fishing hole. Good morning, Josh. How are you?
Doing good, Zeb. How are you today?
Well, I'm not bad at all. It is just a real treat to talk to you again about fishing, and we had the show the last couple of years on the program, and you did an outstanding job talking about all the equipment, talking about where to go, where the hot spots are, etc. Where are you right now as we speak?
Well, right now I'm actually at home. My fishing trip's planned for tomorrow. I had today and tomorrow off. Fishing's been good around the valley, though. Got a bunch of information to share with everybody.
Okay. Now, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll let you kind of kick things off first as far as the information you want to provide, and then I've got some specific questions for you. So go ahead and give us the information that you have.
Oh. Well, I just wanted to cover some of the handicap accessibility within the Magic Valley. We've had a lot of requests for people that were interested in where they might have better access if they are limited to mobility and stuff like that. And I just wanted to relay some information over the radio for those guys that just don't get out enough and maybe give them the opportunity to know where to go.
Where are some of those locations, Josh?
I was just looking at everything that was available in the Magic Valley, and I talked with Fish and Game on stocking records and everything, and it looks like for wheelchair accessibility, bathrooms, and stuff like that, we have quite a few opportunities within the Magic Valley.
Well, where are some of the better places to go if people have limited access as far as being in a wheelchair or on crutches or whatever? Why don't you tell us some of those spots?
Well, somewhere that would be pretty close to your neck of the woods over there in the Rupert area. Lake Walcott is probably one of the nicest little parks that we have over there in the Burley Rupert area. A lot of walking paths, a lot of shore accessibility, a lot of little bird lookouts that you could get a wheelchair up onto. There's no really a fishing dock or anything like that to provide access, but it's pretty flat ground over there, and there's a lot of shoreline, and there's bass and trout that can be caught, a lot of picnic tables and little barbecue pits. Makes it a pretty enjoyable experience, especially in the heat of the summer. You got a lot of shade and trees there, and you're right on the Snake River.
Well,
another place that we've found is a really accessible place for fishermen that have given a good opportunity to limited access, and that is like Cottonwood Campground over at CJ Strike. They've got the accessible bathrooms, and they've got a lot of little docks and stuff there that people can get out. And right now the fishing's pretty hot out there for crappie. There's a lot of 7 to 9 inch crappie being caught right from shore. Also, there's Dog Creek Reservoir. Dog Creek's probably one of the more interesting ones. It's over by the Gooding area. It actually has a fishing pier with handrails and bumpers on the docks, so anybody on a wheelchair shouldn't end up slipping into the water. And it just got recently stocked the end of May with 200 muskie.
Oh, my.
The other fish that are within Dog Creek, they heavily stock it with trout, and there's bluegill and bass. And as the water warms up into the summer, those bluegill and bass are pretty easy to be caught right there from that dock.
I've got to ask you a question right there, if I may, Josh. Did you say muskie like the great big fish from the Great Lakes?
Yeah, it's actually a tiger muskie. It's a hybrid that's sterilized, basically, so that they don't breed, and they introduced 200 of them there the end of May. After last year's electrical shock survey, they didn't shock up too many of them. From what I understand, they didn't shock up any, but I hear it's kind of hard to get them in between the wires and actually get them to come to the surface. But looking at the survey, there was a lot of 6 and 7 pound largemouth bass and lots of catfish that were surveyed within the Fish and Game shock treatment, basically, that went out there and kind of got an idea of what kind of forage was in the reservoir there and what kind of fish were left that were, an opportunity to be caught. And they decided to put 200 more muskie in the end of May this year.
Let me ask you this, though. I grew up back in the Midwest and used to go up on the Great Lakes fishing for northern pike and muskie. Muskie, basically a kind of a killer fish, if you will. Are they not afraid that the muskies will overtake the population?
Well, being that they're sterilized, and after the survey of what other fish were in there, they decided to put 200 in there with the idea that it probably wouldn't hurt the fishery and it would probably benefit it.
Okay.
As many bluegill and stuff are in there. You get too many bluegill in there and they end up becoming stunted, and you can catch 1 million of them, but they'll only be about the size of your hand. Introducing an apex predator like that will thin those bluegill down, and they'll have to get big enough to not be eaten and maybe increase the opportunity of catching bigger bluegill and pumpkin seed type fish.
I see. Let me ask you, before we run out of time, I want to also hit, do you have any other locations that you want to stress about handicap access?
Really just the Hayspur Hatchery and like Murtaugh is pretty flat and has handicap access, and also your Hagerman Wildlife Management down there at the Oster Ponds. They have I think it's Riley Pond 3 actually has a handicap dock that's you're able to get out on there and fish from pretty safely.
Okay. Let me ask you this.
And Oster Ponds are very heavily stocked.
Okay, let me ask you this question. Josh, and you're the expert. Some people might say, well, yeah, sure, the handicap, they're going to be stuck fishing from the dock, and they probably won't have any fish in that area. How do you answer people about dock fishing and these locations? Is there good fishing usually at those locations?
In most cases where they have those, they do try to make sure that the opportunity is there, where they will introduce, 400 or 500 nice catchable size rainbow trout, especially at like the Oster Ponds there in Hagerman. You can get on the Idaho Fish and Game website and look at the stocking history, and it will break down each pond and how many fish they put in and when they put them in there. So that if you do a little bit of research, you definitely can put yourself in the opportunity of being successful. That's the one thing that they don't want to have fishermen do, is go out there and not catch fish, because that's the most frustrating, especially with kids and people with limited abilities.
I'm so glad that we talked about this on the first program, because I asked you at the store, Sportsman's Warehouse, when we were talking about this, to maybe start the program off about access to people that might be in wheelchairs or have a physical impairment. But really, by listening to you, there seems to be a lot of choice and a lot of availability for people with limited access to enjoy good fishing.
Yeah, I didn't really touch base on everything. We could probably talk for a half hour on it. There's probably about 20, 25 different locations that are listed on the Idaho Fish and Game website that you can look up. It'll let you know what kind of docks, what kind of bathroom accessibilities for people like that would have the access to. And if you relay that information to stocking history, you can get a pretty good idea if it's going to be tough fishing, or you should have a good opportunity to maybe bring one home.
Let me ask you this real quick before we run out of time on our first Old Fishing Hole program. What about equipment? Anything different for people that might have the access problems of being in wheelchairs, etc.? Any different or additional pieces of fishing equipment they might need?
we do sell knot tying tools. You know, if somebody has an impairment where they're limited with their hands or, you know, have trouble holding the line, that might assist in some of that. But and we have a lot of different types of fishing rods and that in the store that, you know, we can match up to a person that might have limited abilities. The same as small children and stuff like that. We have a lot of different rods and reels, and we can be specific to their abilities.
I got to tell you, folks, I'm so impressed with this man, Josh Anderson, over at Sportsman's Warehouse, 1940 Bridgeview Boulevard in Twin Falls. He is the fishing guru master. He knows everything about fishing, and every week we're going to be talking to him about where he is, what he's fishing for, what kind of equipment. With Father's Day right around the corner this weekend, Josh, what do you expect people will be looking for? What kind of tackle are they going to be looking for?
Right now at the store, we're running Father's Day ads. We've got a Mustad fillet board set with knives that's running for $15. We have a Lew's spinning combo that's normally $80 down to $49.99. We've got some terminal tackle pliers and stuff that are on sale that are normally $15 down to $8. We got a lot of different little knickknacks that we got going running around the store just for Father's Day in particular to try to make the purchase a little less hurting on the wallet just to get you guys out there this summer.
I tell you what, this man got me re-interested in fishing a year ago, and I really appreciate him. And every week on Wednesday at 10:06, we're going to let Josh come on here and talk to us more about fishing and what's going on in southern Idaho and all the equipment right there at Sportsman's Warehouse, 1940 Bridgeview Boulevard in Twin Falls. You know, Josh, I know it took a lot of work on your part to put all this stuff together, but we appreciate it, and we want to wish you a happy Father's Day this next weekend, and we'll look forward to next Wednesday.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, I'm hoping to hear from you back, and I'll have another report about Magic Valley and maybe over there towards Minidoka and that. And it looks like fishing's just going to get better with the snowpack and all the water that's coming. It's been a little tough. The water's been a little high in some areas, but with all that water and the fish that carried over from last year's water overload, we should have a lot of opportunities to catch some really nice fish in our Magic Valley.
There's the man. He knows, and he's sharing that information on the Sportsman's Warehouse Old Fishing Hole Report. Josh, God bless you, man. Take care. Have a great week. I'll come and see you at the store. Thank you.
Thank you, Zeb. You have a great day.
All right. I really like that, man. And my wife and I were in there and visited with him not too long ago. And believe me, for everything for Father's Day, all your sportsman's equipment, whether it's fishing, the hunting, whatever the case might be, at Sportsman's Warehouse. And they're at 1940 Bridgeview Boulevard in Twin Falls. And, of course, the Old Fishing Hole with Josh Anderson. Appreciate that. Right now, I've got to pay some bills here quick before we go to our next guest, and I want to remind you what's going to go on with the great big sale this Saturday, and it's put on by the Bennett Boys Auction Service. It's the Sutton Estate Auction. It's at 11 o'clock this Saturday over in the Buell area at 1634 East, 4300 North. Look for the signs, and the sale starts at 11 o'clock in the morning on Saturday. Lots of cars and farm items, lawn and garden items, shop tools, lots of shop tools, along with clocks and furniture, household items. Wow, a lot of antique clocks. They've got it all at this Sutton Estate Auction, and it's coming up this Saturday, June 15th at 11 o'clock over in Buell, managed by the Bennett Boys Auction Service. No sale too big, no sale too small. The Bennett Boys, they sell them all. Right now, ladies and gentlemen, we go to the phone line, and with us on the phone is a man by the name of Louis Schindler, and he is the main man with the Idaho Regatta for 2019. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning, Zeb. How are you?
Well, not too bad. It's a real treat to have you on the air, and I want you to take some time right now and kind of give us a thumbnail sketch of all the fun that can be had at the Idaho Regatta this year.
Well, the first thing we start off with during the Idaho Regatta event is we start off with the show and shine over at the Rupert Square, which is on Thursday, June 27th. and it goes from 6 to 8 p.m. usually. And then second, on Friday, we start off at 10 a.m. in the morning with the parade that goes through the city of Burley, and it's usually starts at 10 a.m., and we're going to leave from the Kodiak America parking lot this year. And then Friday and Saturday, we have boat racing all day long, or Saturday and Sunday, we have boat racing all day long, and that usually starts, the gates open at 8 a.m., and racing starts about 10 a.m. to 11, depending on where we end up at with our schedule. And then it lasts till about 5 or 6 p.m., depending on the amount of boats that we have. And that's both on Saturday and Sunday.
Well, let me ask you this, Louis. A lot of people that aren't familiar with this event, and I don't understand how, because it's a world-famous event, the Idaho Regatta. Tell everybody where they go and where they can get tickets.
Well, the first place you can reach us is we have a Facebook page at Facebook at Idaho Regatta, and you can reach us there, and there's a Shop Now button that you can buy tickets from there. And our second option is we have a website at idahoregatta.org, and we have plenty of pages there. We have vendor pages. We have maps pages for our customers. We have that tells about our RV camping outside, and then we have our tickets page. If you look at there's a button up at the top. You click on tickets, and right down at the top of the page, there's a big red button that says Purchase Tickets. And that's where you can purchase tickets at, and it'll take you to a website called My Idaho Tix.
Okay. Now, for those that maybe have never been to the regatta and they're new to this area, tell them exactly where they go to observe and have fun watching some of the best boat races in the world.
That will be at the Burley Golf Course and Marina. It is located at, I believe the address is 2600 East 16th Street, and when you Google it, and it's located right on the Snake River, and we have several boats this year that will be showing up, and it should be just a fantabulous time.
You know, Louis, a lot of people probably don't really appreciate or understand boat racing and the speeds they can attain and how powerful these boats are. Give us a little bit of history about some of the boats that have been here in the past and some of the big boats that are coming in for this summer.
Okay, we've had several classes that have participated since 1975 in the regatta, and that would be the KRR class, the Super Stock class, the Pro Stock class, the Cracker Box class, and the GM boat class. The KRR is our top boat. They normally run in excess of 140 miles an hour around the course.
Wow.
And our Super Stock boats and Pro Stock boats usually average between 125 and 130 miles an hour. And the Cracker Boxes usually run about 100 to 105 miles an hour. And then we have the GN class. They're more of an endurance boat. And what they do is they run either a five-lap heat race, then they run a 10-lap heat race, and a 20-lap heat race. And then we have the Comp Jets that are jet boats, and they run in about the 100-mile-an-hour range also.
Wow. I mean, that's hard for me to imagine on the water, but what are the starting times each day to be down there and watch the racing, and are there going to be any time trials beforehand?
Actually, Friday is a free day, and after the parade is over, which is usually about 11 a.m. to 12 noon, we have what's called Test and Tune Day, and people can come down and just watch Test and Tune. But this year, actually, on Friday, we're going to have a what's called a Nostalgia Jet race, which is a class that's limited to 80 miles an hour, and it's the same jet boats that we run in the Comp Jet class, but they're limited by GPS, and they can only run 80 miles an hour, and they're going to run on Fridays also. So Friday's our free day with Test and Tune. Saturday starts off at 8 a.m. The gates open at 8 a.m. Racing starts about 10 and lasts till about 6 p.m., and that will have heat races and finals on the same day. And then Sunday is the same program as Saturday, where we open gates at 8 a.m. We start racing at 10 a.m., have heat races and final races all in the same day. and it ends about 6 p.m., and then after that we have our award ceremony for the drivers and racers.
Wow, it sounds like an action-packed full weekend, June 27th through the 30th. One quick question before I let you go, Lewis. How did you get so involved in these race boats? What was your big interest in trying to get involved with the Idaho Regatta?
Well, to be honest with you, I got tossed into it just by accident. A friend of mine fell down and hurt himself, and I started off driving his boat. And it ended up evolving into me becoming a part of the committee, and then eventually I evolved into being the chairman of the event.
Wow, I mean, that is really something, and I know a lot of people have called me and they want more information, and we're going to be having you on periodically before the event starts on June 27th. Anything else you want to remind our listeners about quickly before I let you go this morning?
Just come out and have a great time. There's fabulous people. It's good entertainment. It's a little slow sometimes, but most of the time the boats are going pretty fast, and we keep things moving at a great pace. And it's just a great family event to come out and hang out at. Got nothing better to do for the day.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Lewis, for being on the program, and we're going to keep reminding everybody about the 2019 Idaho Regatta, and I know we're going to have you back on the air, so thank you very much.
Yes, sir, Zeb. It was a pleasure being on the air with you, and I thank you for doing this for us.
You're absolutely welcome. Looking forward to it. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, put that on your calendar for June 27th, 28th, and 29th and 30th, the 2019 Idaho Regatta. Going to be a lot of fun, always is, and you're going to see the best of boat racing. Going to be great. Right now, with that call being ended, and Wheels, we've got a terrible amount of feedback there. If you can ride that gain, thank you very much. Coming up next hour, we've had a change, and I want to explain what the change is. We just had a call in the last 20 minutes that our friend Gary Goldman from Boston, Massachusetts, is stuck on an airplane and is not going to get to the terminal in time to get off and get on the phone and be with us. So we're going to have a change, and we're going to have noted economist Dr. Michael Bustler coming on the air, and we're going to be talking about all things economic, and it should be really interesting about the Trump economics, and we're going to be talking about what's going on with the tariffs to Mexico, etc. So don't miss that. Coming up this next hour, Dr. Michael Bustler will be a kind of a pinch hitter for Gary Goldman at 10:33. Right now, we're going to send it back over to our main studio. We'll be back in about 3 minutes.
And now, back to Zeb at the Ranch on AM 1230 KBAR. To reach Zeb, call 436-2244 or toll free 1-866-927-4587. And now, here is Zeb.
Oh, my goodness sakes. We've had some major changes this morning on our scheduling of our guests, and it all worked out very well, thanks to the big help of my lovely bride of 48 years, and then also Wheels over at the main studio. And right now we're going to go to the phone line and put a guest on the air that has been here many times before, and I really appreciate his knowledge. He's an economic analyst and really understands what's going on. Professor of Finance, Dr. Michael Bustler. Sir, good morning. How are you?
Good morning to you, Zeb. I'm doing well, and it's always my pleasure to be here.
You know, let me ask you, you're back in New Jersey at the current time, is that right?
I am, yeah.
Right about this time of the year, and I've done quite a few different events back there where I've come back and announced at various events, and in the summertime, the humidity back in New Jersey, you're a lot tougher than I am.
Yes, it's very humid. I happen to live at the Jersey Shore, which is even more humid. Now, fortunately, today is a low temperature. It's only in the low 70s with very low humidity. But come July and August, the humidity really gets pretty heavy again, especially at the Jersey Shore here.
Dr. Bustler, the reason I'm so appreciative that you're on the air this morning and filling in at the last moment, and I really appreciate that, is that I always look forward to your viewpoints on what's happening with economic situations in our country. And I will say this, and tell me if you think I'm wrong, that no matter what Trump does, No matter what Trump tries to do, the news media, especially the New York Times, they are going to denigrate him and cast him asunder because he can't do anything right, according to them. But it looks like it's the economic principles that are working right now for this country.
Yeah, you're exactly right, I think, on both accounts. It doesn't matter what President Trump would do. The media would say there's something wrong with it. People have joked, if President Trump found a cure for cancer, the media would come out saying he just put all the oncologists out of work. And what a bad thing that was. So, yeah, they'll do that no matter what he does. With regard to the economy, he really couldn't have done anything much better. The prior administration, coming out of a recession in 2009, the prior administration should have concentrated on economic growth, making growth the top priority. That would have brought us quickly out of the recession, quickly through a recovery, and into a long expansion. Instead of doing that, they concentrated on curing perceived social injustices. It's injustice everybody doesn't have health care. It's injustice that wealthy people make so much more than everybody else. It's injustice that big banks take advantage of consumers. So every time they did something to cure one of those perceived social injustices, it put a burden on the economy and slowed economic growth. For instance, they have passed the Affordable Care Act, which gave health care to everyone, required business to cover all of their employees with health care or pay a $3,000 fine. What that did was add to the cost of business and tended to slow economic growth. Obama administration also put in a number of regulations, including the Dodd-Frank bill, designed to protect consumers. What those regulations did was end up slowing economic growth. For instance, again, the Dodd-Frank bill put restrictions on predatory, what they referred to as predatory lending, where you gave mortgages to people who really should not be given them. The problem with Dodd-Frank is it put restrictions on all lending. When you put restrictions on lending and slow down the amount of lending, it means monetary policy is not as effective. So again, that tended to slow economic growth. So what did President Trump do? He got into office. The first thing he could do was, through executive order, get rid of some of these burdensome regulations. He did that as soon as he got into office in 2017. From the second quarter of 2017, starting in April until today, the economy has been growing at over a 3% annual rate. So the whole decade from 2006 to 2016, before Trump got in, the economy averaged only about a 2% economic growth. So the economic growth that Trump has put in by reducing regulations, and then later in the year he convinced Congress to cut taxes for all Americans, including corporations and higher income earners, as well as everybody else. That created capital for expansion and continued to fuel an expansion in the economy. The expansion provided many new jobs. The unemployment rate came way down. It's at historical lows now. And for the last 9 months, there are more job openings than there are unemployed people.
Wow.
Today, there are about 7 million job openings and only 6 million unemployed people. So he's doing everything right, although the media won't frame it that way.
Let me ask you this then, and this is a little pretend question. Let's pretend that you are now one of the 24, 96, 117, whatever Democratic hopefuls for president. What kind of an economic platform could you possibly stand on that would hold any water against Donald Trump?
There's no economic platform that they can really stand on. They can pick apart different policies to try to run on. For instance, the economy is doing exceptionally well, but the economy has not provided health care for everybody. They believe health care is a right. Everybody should have it. The only way to guarantee that is to have the government control the healthcare market and Medicare for all type thing. So they can't run on the economy, but they can try to run on some specific issues, saying they can improve those things if they're elected. Other than that, they're just going to say Trump is bad, and it's not that you should vote for me because I have a good idea. It's that they're going to say vote against Trump because all his ideas are bad, even though it looks like some are working.
Dr. Bussler, let me ask you this then, and it kind of dovetails into what we're talking about. How, underline the word how, can California, with the loony leadership that they have, offer health care to illegal aliens at a tune of another $98 million in cost to taxpayers down in California? How can they do this with this sinking ship in California? Their finances and economics in California are about ready to tip upside down.
Yeah, they certainly are. And what's even more upsetting is, first of all, I think they've drastically underestimated the cost. They said 90,000 people will be covered, and they estimated the cost at $98 million. Now, that's a little over $1,000 per person. Healthcare is going to cost more than that. So they've underestimated the number one. Number two, you want to spend $100 million on people that are here illegally when in California alone they've got well over 100,000 homeless people. In Los Angeles alone, there's 50,000 people just living in the streets. San Francisco, thousands of people just living in the streets, causing all kinds of problems. The sad part is many of these people are veterans, and for whatever reason they become homeless. I would argue you can spend that $100 million much better on helping American citizens that need help rather than helping people who are in the country illegally.
Absolutely.
It's really, I think, a disgrace what they're doing.
Absolutely. Let me ask you this question then, Dr. Bussler. When we hear the Democrats say, oh, Medicare for all, it's a right, and then, of course, the American taxpayer is going to get gouged severely out of their billfold. And then we hear talk about the Green Deal energy. Well, it's only going to be so many trillions and trillions of dollars. And then recently we hear another Democrat come out as of yesterday, Rashida Tlaib, and she's touting a new bill that she's trying to get passed about giving literally free money to the poor. When did the Democrats finally run out of my money?
Well, that's the problem with socialism. It was Margaret Thatcher that said, socialism works until you run out of somebody else's money. And the thing is, they're going to run out of somebody else's money very quickly. Look, the federal government has a huge deficit. They're already spending nearly $1 trillion a year more than they're bringing in tax revenue. What we should be working on is reducing government spending and trying to increase tax revenue, not by raising tax rates, but by increasing economic activity, which is exactly what President Trump is doing. As a matter of fact, they cut taxes. Trump convinced Congress to cut taxes in 2017. In 2018, we took in a little more money, a little more tax revenue at the lower tax rate, took in more tax revenue in 2018 than we did in 2017. And that's because the rate went down, but economic activity went up, so income went up. You're taxing a larger amount of income, even though at a lower rate, you're bringing in more dollars. So we need to get the federal budget deficit down by reducing government spending, which will be a difficult thing to do, and try to get tax revenue up. Before we start thinking about spending more government money on more programs, we need first to try to get the government's budget in balance. The other problem is once you start with one of these social programs, it's impossible to do away with them. The federal government budget now, this year the government's going to spend $4.4 trillion. Of that total, $2.7 trillion, about 60%, goes to entitlement programs. That is Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. So 60% of the budget is in areas of entitlements, and to try to cut any spending in that area will be extremely difficult politically. So recognizing we have a problem with too much government spending, before you start talking about spending more, we ought to start talking about how we get the budget in balance.
Well, you're a professor of finance, and you understand this far, far better than I. But right now, it looks like somebody is below the surface of the water underneath our boat, and they're drilling holes in my boat because they keep taxing and wanting to raise taxes on the American taxpayer. But it all goes back to socialism and socialistic values versus capitalism. Where did we lose the value of capitalism in this country? And what about the younger generation? Do they not realize the danger and the evils of socialism?
The answer is they don't completely realize. What happened was when President Obama decided not to put economic growth as a top priority, but rather his social policies, the economy stagnated for a decade. From 2006 to 2016, economic growth averaged around 2%. Now, as a result of that, there were not a lot of new opportunities being created. So college graduates went out to look for a job. Many of them couldn't find a job. They took a job which they didn't need the college degree for because that's all they could get. Because they did that, people without college degrees didn't have any opportunities at all. They became discouraged workers, dropped out of the labor force. Well, somebody comes along and says to these underemployed college grads and these discouraged workers, listen, the system isn't working for you. You can't find opportunity to take care of yourself. So I'll tell you what, you don't have to worry about it anymore. The government is going to take care of you. Well, that becomes very appealing to people who, for a decade, haven't seen any good opportunity and are struggling to get by. Mm-hmm. Fortunately, President Trump has the answer to this. The way to show people that socialism is not better than capitalism is to show them the benefits of capitalism. And to show them that, you have the economy grow, you have the economy create opportunity. All of these underemployed college graduates, many of them are now finding new opportunities that suit their skill level and raises their income. Now they're starting to see the benefits of what a growing capitalistic economy can have. The discouraged workers are now coming back into the workforce. Today, there are 7 million job openings and only about 6 million unemployed people. So if you want to work today, you should be able to get a job. And if you don't have a very good job, one that's not taking advantage of all of your skills, you should be able to move up. Once people start seeing that, and it'll take a couple of years for everything to filter through, but once people start seeing that, they're going to say, hey, this capitalism isn't a bad thing. It provided opportunity for me. I'm making more money. And, I feel good about it because I don't have to rely on the government to pay for something for me. I don't have to rely on other taxpayers because, remember, the government doesn't have any money. All they have is what they take from taxpayers. I don't want other taxpayers to have to pay my health insurance bill. I don't want other taxpayers to have to pay my college tuition bill. I want the opportunity to earn enough income to pay for that myself. And that's what President Trump is giving them.
Let me ask you, and this is a very simplistic question in some respects, but I don't know the answer. Maybe you do. How do we re-implement a work ethic to the younger generation when everything too many times has been too easily given to them?
Zeb, that's a very difficult thing. Look, the intentions, I think, were always good. Everybody wants to give their children as much as they can. But if you give them everything and they never learn how to earn something, they end up in the position that they're in now where they just expect people to give them things. I think the long-term answer is that we have to show the children, now we want to provide for them, I understand that, but we have to show them value, and the value of earning things yourself. And instead of having somebody give it to you, you have the ability to go out and get it yourself. You'll feel much better. You'll feel like you're not dependent on anybody, and in the long run, that's going to benefit the children individually and the society as a whole.
One final thought, and I would be amiss if I didn't ask you this before we left this morning. A lot of people have said it was brilliant, the strategy that Donald Trump used to get Mexico's attention and start manning the borders and helping with the illegal aliens by the imposition of possibly a 5% tariff at first and possibly escalating to 25%. The Democrats were outraged. I think it was a great idea, and it's working.
I think it was absolutely brilliant. So you understand the situation. We have a crisis at the border. There's no doubt about it. Congress refuses to do anything. President Trump is trying whatever he can. Declare a national emergency. They tried to fight that. He'll do whatever he wants to build the wall by taking money from wherever he can get it. They're trying to fight him with that. So he said, well, look, the only thing left is to have Mexico stop these people from coming up through Central America, through Guatemala and into Mexico. So I'll get Mexico to stop them, and that will minimize our problem. Well, Mexico for months said, okay, we'll work on doing that. We'll come up with a plan. Nothing was happening. Now, remember, President Trump is not a politician. He's a business person. A politician would do something politically correct, convene a summit, meet with somebody, kick the can down the road, and basically nothing ever happens. A business person sees a problem, especially if it's affecting your bottom line, and confronts it immediately. So he said to Mexico, listen, I want this resolved right away. Well, Mexico was in no hurry to do anything. So again, what does a business person do? You create a sense of urgency. He said on June 1st, I'm putting tariffs on in 10 days unless this is resolved. The next day, the Mexican government sent representatives up here, and 6 days later, we had an agreement, and the tariffs don't have to go on. It was a brilliant strategy by President Trump.
All I can say is that you have been a real friend of this program, and I certainly appreciate you and your effort to be on the show this morning. Dr. Michael Busler, back in New Jersey, and you are always welcome. Thank you so much for your time on my program today.
Thank you, Zeb. It's always my pleasure to be here.
God bless you, sir. Thank you very much. That man just kind of filled in for us, and he always does a great, great job. Dr. Michael Busler, professor of finance at Stockton University back in New Jersey. Thank you very much for your time. Holy cow, I've got to get a weather forecast on here real quick, and the weather brought to you by Don Scarrow and the crew at Scarrow's Meats, 331 North Road, Jerome. Ho, ho, ho. Go to their website and check out all the delicious meats, scarrowsmeats.com. Yep, for your family reunions and your graduation ceremonies and, of course, all your picnics and everything else. Oh, my goodness, delicious meats from Scarrow's Meats. The bacons and the breakfast sausages and the bratwurst and the tri-tips. Oh, the list goes on. Check it out at Scarrow's Meats in Jerome. Number to call, 324-7657. Right now, here's Scotty with the weather.
Maybe a little bit of a chance of rain for tomorrow. Good morning with your Zeb at the Ranch weather forecast. I'm Scotty Cameron. Sunshine for today. Highs are going to be around 84. Tonight, partly cloudy, a low of 55. Then for tomorrow, sunny in the morning. Afternoon, slight chance of showers. Highs are going to be around 81. Partly cloudy and a chance of showers for Thursday night, a low of 52. And then in the morning on Friday, a slight chance of showers, a high of 81, then clearing off and becoming sunny. Friday night, clear and a low of 52. Then for Saturday, sunny at 81. Sunday, mostly sunny at 83. That's your Zeb at the Ranch weather forecast. I'm Scotty Cameron. Have a great day.
Not too bad, Scotty. Good job filling in for Gina. Appreciate it. And brought to you this hour by Scarrow's Meats, 331 North Road, Jerome. And again, that telephone number, 324-7657. They are changing the way we eat, one delicious bite at a time. I'm going to be here tomorrow on Thursday. Sharon and I are going to be alternating on Thursdays from this point on. So tomorrow I'm in the saddle, and we've got all kinds of fun things going on. We've got the report with our friends at Burley Physical Therapy. We've got Rita Ramsey's going to be on the program, Cache County School Days, all kinds of good folks. Don't miss it tomorrow morning starting at 8:06. Want to remind you, too, about our major sponsor. We really appreciate and thank thank our Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. All 7 locations serving you with the best in tires, the best in brake service, front-end alignment, shocks and struts and batteries. Believe me, they want you to enjoy summertime driving and drive safely. Many of their tires are on sale right now for your cars, pickups, and SUVs, horse trailers, boat trailers, whatever, like the Ultra Z900 all-season traction tire for your automobiles. Check it out today. And for the pickups and SUVs, how about the Open Country MT? Outstanding traction, aggressive tread design, on sale. Stop in and see these great folks today. Again, Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family and Paul, Daniel on Poline, Twin Falls, and Trent on Overland in Burley. The best, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Wow, that's going to do it for today. We're all done, wrapped up, and ready to say adios. And we always end the program by saying the way things were, the way things ought to be, and the world needs more cowboys. Tune in tomorrow morning at 8:06. Zeb at the Ranch on a Thursday tomorrow. And Wheels, you have a good day.